It's that time of the week where we look at who the Dolphins should and shouldn't root for, or just should root for, because the shouldn't is the team that they're probably playing. But I'm talking a lot. Let's hit that intro. What is up, Finn fans? We are going to be looking at and somewhat talking about this upcoming week's schedule. So I told you guys I'm doing this now, and essentially you're like, we're going to look at the schedule. I'm going to make my picks, but mostly we're talking about Dolphins playoff standings, who we should root for, where things fall, and all that stuff. I will say this, Barry Jackson did come out with an article a couple days ago talking about who the Dolphins should root for this weekend. And I'm going to go through it real quick, and then we're going to kind of look at it, because he's looking at it in the perspective of Dolphins lose, this is who we need to start losing to help us. Whereas I'm looking at it as, I expect the Dolphins to win, and I don't want the Bills and the Patriots, because screw the Bills. No offense, Bill fans. I'm pretty sure you guys want us to fall apart and not make the playoffs and have egg all over our faces. So screw the Bills. So this is what he said. He said, root for the Dolphins to beat the Cowboys, obviously. You're going to root for the Chargers to beat the Bills. That ain't happening, but still, obviously. And I think if that happens, the Dolphins clinch the AFC East. So if the Bills somehow, and again, we'll go more into this in a little bit, if the Bills somehow lose to the Chargers and Dolphins beat the Cowboys, they clinch the East. If my brain is working correctly, but again, we'll look at that. You're going to root for the Steelers to beat the Bengals, to further reduce Cincinnati as a threat to overtake Miami in the wild card seeding if the Dolphins lose the division. Root for the Texans to beat the Browns to improve Miami's chance of being a the fifth wild card spot. Root for the Falcons to beat the Colts. Same reason. Root for Tampa Bay to beat Jacksonville, and root for the Raiders to beat the Chiefs. That will give the Dolphins more of a chance to get the number 1 seed. So again, us rooting for the Texans to beat the Browns, and the Falcons to beat the Colts, and the Bucs to beat the Jaguars, and the Steelers to beat the Bengals, that's all if the Dolphins are in the wild card and they fall on their face. We're going to look at that. I'm going to give you physical eye-opening material to look at all that stuff, because me just reading it off to you, you're probably like, what are you talking about? So we're going to look at all that stuff, because I'm dyslexic and I'm more of a hands-on learner than a verbal learner. So I'm going to minimize myself, and we're going to take a look at that. So here we are. Let me make myself a little bit bigger. There we go. Right there. Again, I talked about this Monday. Number 2 seed behind Baltimore, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Indy, Houston, Bills. Now, again, like Barry said, and I'm going to go into it a little bit more, we want the Texans, the Colts, the Bengals, and the Browns to lose, so God forbid we fall on our face and the Bills take the division. We'll be the number 6, the 5th seed. We'll be a high seed there. But me, as someone who's like, the Bills can kick rocks with open-toe sandals, I want the Bengals, the Colts, and the Texans to keep winning, because if they have the same record as the Bills when the season comes to an end, the Bills don't make the playoffs. And that will be a joyous occasion for me, because the Bills are talking so spicy. Rightfully so. You beat the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Rightfully so. But you're annoying. And I'm a Dolphin fan. And you're the rival. Kick rocks. I don't want you in the playoffs. I want you to sit outside and watch the Dolphins win the division, and it'd be even better if they got the number 1 seed. And to get the number 1 seed, we need to beat the Bills. And there's a possibility, and I'm going to go through that, and I'll go through it every week if it changes. There's a huge possibility that week 18, if the Dolphins do, and we're going to get into that, I don't know why I keep talking, but if they do beat the Cowboys and the Ravens, they'll already have clinched the East. So then the Bills in week 18 are playing for their life, whereas the Dolphins are playing for the number 1 seed and knocking the Bills out. But we'll look at that. So again, this is the AFC playoff standing, and then you have the percentage. Dolphins drop down from winning the division because we lost to the Titans. Again, I've said this before. The Bills have a higher chance of making the playoffs than the Dolphins. That would drive me nuts if I was a Dolphin player. We have a 12% chance to get in the first round. Ravens have a 74% chance because they have a way easier schedule. A lot of these percentages has to do with the strength of schedule, and the Dolphins have a hard strength of schedule for the last 3 games compared to the Bills and the Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs, who all have higher. See, like the Chiefs have a number 1. They're going to win the division because you look at the difference, and they're going to be playing these teams, and they're the better team. So yeah. So now we're going here. A lot of people are asking me, hey, Doug, what is this website you use? Playoff Predictor. It's right here. I don't even realize it's literally right here, and everyone's like, "Hey, Doug, what is that? What is that website you use?" It's right here. So this is the following week, and we're going to talk about these things now. I am giving you, and we are going to do this in the aspect that the Dolphins win. Some of you guys wanted me to show you if the Dolphins lose. I'll do that as well. I did that 2 weeks ago. I showed you what would happen and how the Dolphins cannot make the playoffs and the Bills win. So essentially, this is my pick video because I'm going to run through it real quick, and then we're going to look at scenarios. I think the Bengals will beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers are down bad. I would be more shocked than when the Packers beat the Chiefs if somehow a team with a horrible quarterback, Justin Herbert's not playing anymore. They don't have like half of their coaching staff. They are just injured out the wazoo. It would blow my mind out of my skull if somehow the Chargers beat the Bills. That being said, in 2021, I think it was the Jaguars, who weren't good at the time, beat the Bills. Anything could happen. I would love it. I would be doing backflips. It would be the greatest day of my life. Because then, if that does happen, I'm pretty sure, and again, we'll get to it, the Dolphins will clinch the division if they beat the Dallas Cowboys. This is an interesting one, but I'm going to go. I don't think C.J. Stroud's playing this one, so I'm going to go with the Browns. I like their defense better. Broncos beat the Patriots. Patriots are losing on purpose. Kansas City Chiefs are beating the Raiders. Chiefs are doing better. This one's interesting to me. I'm actually going to pick the Jets to win this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington wins this one. I'm going Colts here. I'm going to go Seattle here. Even though they are flying from the West Coast to the East Coast to take on the Titans, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know if Will Levis is injured enough. Jaguars in this one. I'm taking the 49ers. I think they're a really good team, and this would help the Dolphins drastically. And just for poops and giggles, I'm going to go Rams, Packers, Lions, Browns, and Eagles. And then obviously in all of our scenarios, Dolphins. If you want my definite answer on what's going to happen Sunday, and you want more in depth on that, that's tomorrow's video where we preview it, and I have so much stuff to talk about. It's going to be a real in-depth preview video. So, as you look right now, nothing has changed. The only difference is the Dolphins and the Ravens now have the same record. And if this happens, I guarantee you they're going to flex the Dolphins-Ravens game the following Sunday, because I think they have till the end of Sunday to do it. But here is where it will get fishy, because after this, the Dolphins have 2 games left. So if the Bills win out, they would be 11-6, and if the Dolphins lose out, they would be 11-6. Let me switch it to division, make it easier for your eyes. Right, 2 games left. If the Bills were to lose, the worst the Dolphins could do is 11-6, and the best that the Bills can do is 10-7. So if the Bills somehow on God's green earth lost to the Chargers and the Miami Dolphins beat the Cowboys, the Dolphins would clinch the division. That's how it would work. The Miami Dolphins would clinch the division, which is crazy. Please, Chargers, muster up all the spoil you can get and drop it on the Bills' head, because that would be craziness. Because again, if you look at it, let's say that the Dolphins lose to the Raiders, the Bills win, the Ravens, and then the Dolphins. Am I wrong? I think I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Best case scenario, this is what would happen if the Dolphins lost and the Bills won out. They can't win the division. So if the Bills lose to the Chargers and the Dolphins beat the Cowboys, the Dolphins would clinch the division, and then for the last 2 games of the season would be playing for the number 1 seed. And if the Bills lose to the Chargers, look how far down it would move them in that hierarchy. It would move them down because I think right now they're sitting at 9. They're sitting at 8. So if they were to win, because again, I had the Texans losing, because if the Texans win, it would push them back down. So again, as a Dolphin fan, and as somebody who is like, screw the Bills, we want the Texans to win, the Broncos to win, the Colts to win, everyone that's above them, and the Bengals to win. Because if the Bengals lose, and the Texans lose, and the Jaguars lose, kind of like Barry Jackson was talking about, then the Bills all of a sudden are the number 6 seed. We don't want that. Screw the Bills. But I honestly think, for my prediction, this is what I think will happen. So the Bills are inching closer, but this is this. Okay? And then, again, speed it up a little bit. Bing. I think they win, but don't be surprised with this one. I know it's in Buffalo, but Bill Belichick, I think, is going to play his heart out. So this is another game where, again, if they lose, the Bills just need to lose 1 game. The Dolphins need to keep winning, and they'll clinch the division because there's not enough games left. I'm going to go Texans in this one. I'm going to go Chiefs in this one, but don't be surprised the Bengals could pull this off. I'm going Denver Broncos in this one. Again, just for this one, we're going to go Dolphins win out, Chargers, and then I'll go Seattle. Final week of the season. So you see here that the Buffalo Bills are in as of right now. I think the Patriots will win this one. They're in Foxborough. Say the Dolphins win. I think the Ravens will win this one. Bengals, sure. See, all of a sudden, and I think this one, it doesn't matter. No, it kind of matters. No, this one doesn't matter. I do think that the Colts will win this one. But you see here, right, in this scenario where I'm just picking this legitly, if the Dolphins, if these games work out like they should, so say Cleveland wins, we'll go with Cleveland winning because they're a little bit better than Cincy on defensive-wise. And I think that this will happen this way. If the Dolphins win out and the Bills win out, but the teams that win should win, and the Dolphins beat the Bills, they will not make the playoffs. Like I said, there's a good chance that these teams right here would knock the Bills out, which is crazy. And then obviously if the Bills win this game, we'd still win the division. If we beat the Ravens and the Cowboys, we win the division. But here, a lot of you guys are like, hey, what would happen if the Dolphins lost out? This is what would happen. We'd probably, in my scenario of my picks, we'd fall to the 7th seed. And we would have to face the Chiefs in Kansas City. Chiefs, Kansas City, Jaguars, Colts go to Jags, and then Browns go to Buffalo. That's what would happen if we lost out. From my picks. Because again, like, say like the Texans win. Like I'm trying to like, if I can rig it. Like if the Bengals win this one. There's like a way. I don't know why I didn't go through. Where like the Dolphins could get knocked out of the playoffs. Right there. Like the Bengals would have to go on a tear. But if the Bengals and the Dolphins have the same record, no, the Dolphins would win. So. But yeah. So overall, let me reset it. This upcoming week, me personally, Dolphins have to beat the Cowboys. I do not see this happening. But we want to root for the Chargers. And we want to root for the 49ers. And we want to root for the Raiders. But obviously, See, conference tying. So there's like a third, because it's like head-to-head conference, and then there's like a third one, maybe strength of schedule, why we would not have the tiebreaker. We want to root for the Raiders, just because, if we do end up losing a game or tying with the Chiefs, they would get the number 1 seed. So we want that 2-game lead. And then for me, again, kick rocks to the Bills. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm rooting for the Browns. I'm rooting for... You'd actually want to root for the Texans, because it pushes the Bills down even more. So Broncos, Texans, Bengals, this doesn't matter. Colts, this doesn't matter. And Jaguars. And then it pushes them all the way down. And even if they did win, they still wouldn't be in. So that's what we want. As Dolphin fans, obviously we need to win. The realistic possibility is we want to root for the 49ers, and we want to root for the 49ers, and we want to root for the Chargers. Chargers is not realistic, but 49ers, that's very realistic, and Bengals. But if these two pan out, it'd be huge. Absolutely huge. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to do this every week. I'm going to, we beat the Cowboys. I'm going to come back. If the Bills end up losing to the Chargers, we're going to celebrate because we won the division. If not, I'm going to do this again. Every Thursday, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to talk to you guys about winning scenarios, playoff scenarios, where we're sitting at, this, and that, because you guys like it. And I want to keep you guys updated, because a lot of you guys ask me, like, hey, what would need to happen for this to happen, or what would need to happen for this to happen? So overall, I'll say it one last time if you want to write it down. Root for the 49ers. It's real. That's the realistic of all of them. And that's about it. And then, like, to hurt the Bills, we want the Texans to win, the Broncos to win, the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Bengals to win. Those are realistic wins, and that would hurt the Bills and keep them out of the wild card seed. And unrealistic, we want the Chargers and the Raiders to win. If those two things happen and we beat the Cowboys, like if everything happens like I showed you here, and we beat the Cowboys, it would be huge. This would be a huge advantage for the Miami Dolphins, because not only would they clinch the division at this point, but they put themselves in a great scenario for the following week, that all they have to do is just beat the Ravens. And it doesn't matter if the Chiefs win. It doesn't matter if the Jaguars win. It doesn't matter if Buffalo wins. It doesn't matter. I have the number 1 seed. And then I even think at this point, if we lost and the Ravens won and the Chiefs won, yeah, it wouldn't matter. It would not matter. We would clinch at beating the Ravens would clinch the number 1 seed, and we can rest our starters against Buffalo if we wanted to. This is what you're looking for. Is it going to happen? No. Don't get your hopes up. But this is what you want. So if you want to screenshot it and take it, this is what you want. But that's what I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. But yeah, I just wanted to flip back and make sure that my audio was working, because last time I did that, my audio wasn't working. Let me know what you think, all that stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow with the preview video. Then Saturday, I'm doing something with Big O. And then Sunday, I've decided I'm going to live stream when I get home. So whatever time I get home from my party at my family's house, Christmas Eve party, that's when I'm going to start live streaming. So I'm going to put the thumbnail up, and I'm going to give you an estimated time. The game starts at, 4:25. I'll probably put like 6:30 as the time the stream is going to start. But I'll start live streaming when I get home. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. And fins up.